So today's video is on my most requested makeup tutorial. So in this video, I'm going to be creating this look, and I'm also going to be giving you guys a bunch of tips that will help you achieve the look that you're going for every single time. So if you're interested, go ahead and grab your makeup, or just go ahead and sit back and relax, and let's get into the video. So I'm going to start off with my skin. I usually do complexion first before moving on to eyeshadow because I feel like the complexion just comes out so much better and it's easier to blend. So I always start off with moisturizer, and I like using a hydrating moisturizer. So I'm gonna go in with this Tula skincare day and night cream. So I usually like locking in a lot of hydration on my skin before applying any makeup. So this is a hydrating cream. It's perfect to apply before your makeup. It just makes the makeup glide on smoothly. And the reason why I really like using this one before makeup is because it doesn't leave my skin super dewy, but it feels really hydrating on the skin, and it just gives like a really nice natural glow. And then next I'm gonna go in with the primer. For primer, I like using a hydrating primer. So I'm gonna use this NYX Professional Makeup Hydra Touch Primer Base. This is the one for dry skin. I love using this during the winter, especially when my skin is really dry. It just helps to lock in extra hydration on my skin, at the same time priming my skin, so making all the makeup last all day long. But if you have oily skin, they have the pore filler one, and this one is mattifying on the skin. So I would recommend getting this one if you have oily or combination skin. So I like my skin looking super glowy before I go in with foundation, just so that everything blends perfectly. So next I'm gonna apply foundation, and for foundation I'm gonna use the Charlotte Tilbury Beautiful Skin Foundation. So I'm using the shade 14 Neutral for the Charlotte Tilbury, and then going in with the shade Sienna for the NYX Can't Stop Won't Stop. The Charlotte Tilbury is not a buildable foundation. It just gives me light coverage. So I want to mix it with the NYX Can't Stop to give me like a medium, closer towards a full coverage. So I'm going to go ahead and blend it out with the beauty sponge. This gives me exactly the coverage I need. It's not too full coverage, but it gives me like more of a medium coverage, skin-like finish. And of course, I like avoiding the foundation around my nose area, just because putting a lot of product there can cause my makeup to separate and be patchy. So I tend to just focus on the perimeter of my face. So I'm going in with the NYX Bear With Me Serum Concealer. So this concealer is a light coverage concealer. It gives me a little bit more coverage. It's buildable. However, I'm gonna mix it with the Sephora Best Skin Ever concealer. I like this Sephora concealer, but this concealer is not hydrating enough on my skin. It is a full coverage concealer. So I like mixing it with this NYX one because the NYX one is very hydrating. So this is gonna give me a good balance to make sure my under eyes are still hydrated but not overly radiant. So I like focusing this on the inner and outer corner of my eye, just around the areas where I have darkness and I want to brighten it up. I also place a small amount on my forehead, down the bridge of my nose, and on my chin area. Now, concealer is one of those things that I look for coverage because it just helps to brighten up your skin. So I like to let it sit on my skin for about 2 to 3 minutes so it can get tacky and I can get the coverage that I need. So I'm gonna go ahead and blend this out with a beauty sponge. So mixing complexion products allows you to provide a balance for something that one product might be lacking. It just allows you to get the consistency, the formulation, and the coverage that you're looking for. And as you can see, the concealer is full coverage, but it's also really hydrating because it's really easy for me to blend it with the sponge. It literally just melts onto your skin because it has those hydrating properties. So one thing that I've been absolutely loving is using a mattifying powder to set the concealer. So the same mattifying powder that you would use to set your foundation, I like to use one that is 2 to 3 shades lighter to set my concealer. So I'm gonna go in with the NYX Can't Stop Won't Stop mattifying powder. I like this powder because it's very lightweight, very natural, but I like to use a fluffy brush to press that right underneath my eyes. This is going to put a little bit of coverage, but it's not going to be too much, so your under eyes are not going to be cakey. This powder has a sheer coverage, so it's not drying on the skin, it's not cakey, it doesn't leave your skin ashy, and I feel like it's great for all skin types. It comes in so many different shades, so this is going to give you a really nice and smooth, breathable finish on your skin. And it's also gonna help mattify your skin. So I like to focus it on all the areas that I applied concealer, making sure that no oils are peeking through from the concealer. This powder is one of my favorites because it's very lightweight. It's a lightweight powder, but it gives a matte finish on the skin, and it also makes your makeup last a really long time and minimizes the appearance of like oils and shine on your skin. It's also really easy to blend on the skin without settling in your fine lines. That's why I like to use it to set the concealer. So if you have wrinkles or fine lines under your eyes, then I would recommend using this powder. All right, so next I'm gonna apply bronzer, and I'm gonna use the shade Rich from the NYX Skin Sapota powder. And this one is more of a bronzy shade. So this is going to help add a little bit of warmth back onto my skin. So I like to apply bronzer in circular motion just so that it diffuses really nicely. It doesn't look too sharp and it looks like your natural skin. I'm gonna place some on my forehead as well. And as you can see, it's looking really skin-like because we're really giving a balance with each product and not going in with all full coverage products. Alright, so I went ahead and did my eyebrows, which I usually use the same product, which is the Milani Weekend Brow in the shade Espresso. So for eyeshadow today, I'm doing something very simple. I'm going for a two-step eyeshadow look. I realize a lot of my most requested makeup looks are usually like very easy eyeshadows that you can achieve every single day, or just eyeshadows that are easier to practice. So I'm just using this NARS concealer in the shade Amande to cancel out the discoloration on my eyelids. And I usually like using a matte concealer to prime my eyelids, specifically a cream thick concealer, because those usually tend to set really well before eyeshadow. And then I'm gonna go in with the Laura Mercier translucent setting powder in the shade Honey, and I'm gonna use that powder to set that concealer. This is gonna allow the eyeshadow to blend easily on your skin, and it's also great for everyday eyeshadow looks such as neutrals and browns. So for this eyeshadow look, you're literally only gonna need two brushes. So I'm using the Morphe M506 brush and the Morphe M507 brush. For eyeshadow, I'm gonna use this new Morphe palette. So this is a 35XS palette. So I'm going to start off by picking up this shade right here called Berry Mary. So picking up this shade, I like to focus these warm tone shades right on my crease first and just building up the coverage. So I'm using the M506 brush, placing it right on the crease and making sure to blend it out in circular motion. So I always like to start by building the pigment instead of going in with too much at once, and just slowly blending it, making sure that there are no harsh lines. So as you can see, I'm putting majority of the pigment on the outer portion of my eye and then using whatever's left, fading it towards the inner portion. And as you can see, because I applied that setting powder on top of that concealer, it's just making the eyeshadow super easy to blend. It literally is very smooth, so it allows the eyeshadow to blend flawlessly. So next I like to go in with that shade and the same brush and just smudge that right underneath my eyes. This is gonna help you tie in that eyeshadow shade with the top. And this is also gonna help smoke out that eyeshadow to make it look well transitioned. It's going to help really tie in your top eyelid with your bottom eyelid. And next I'm gonna pick up this shade right here called Dim the Lights. And I'm using the M507 brush, and I like to place that right on the outer portion of my eye, kind of like where my eyeliner would go. This is going to give your eyeshadow a little bit of depth. It's going to give it more of like a smokier look. So because we're using only two eyeshadow shades, this is more of a two-dimensional eyeshadow look. So you want to just make sure that you're dragging it, focusing on the outer portion of your eye. And you definitely want to build up the pigment. You don't want to go in with too much. Then you want to go in with that shade that you first applied and just blend that out. This is going to make sure like you don't have any harsh lines. It's just gonna make your eyeshadow look super blended, like well transitioned. You also want to use that brown shade and smoke it right at the bottom as well. But I like to only focus on the outer portion and avoid dragging it towards the inner portion. Alright, so next I like to apply mascara before popping on my lashes. So I'm using the Urban Decay Provision Bigger Blacker Battle Lashes. You want to use a mascara that helps to lift your eyelashes. So I like this one because it literally helps to lift it without clumping it up. So next I'm going to go ahead and pop some lashes on, and I'm definitely going for something very natural. So I'm going to use the Kiss So Wispy lashes. And because I applied mascara to my natural lashes, it makes it really easy to place the lashes right on top of my natural lashes. Alright, so now I'm gonna finish off the rest of my face, and I'm going in with blush. I'm gonna use this Juvia's Place Blush Rouge. So this one's the volume 4, so it has the deeper pink and the lighter pink. I'm gonna use this deeper pink just because it's best for deeper skin tones. So I'm focusing this blush on the highest points of my cheekbones. And then I'm gonna place some right on the apples of my cheeks. I like to do this because I have a square face shape. So this just helps to soften up my features. The next I'm gonna apply highlighter, and I'm gonna use the e.l.f. Rose Gold highlighter. This is my favorite highlighter. It literally just melts onto your skin. It makes your skin look skin-like. It doesn't leave like a powdery finish. So I like mixing those two shades. And I'm gonna apply a little bit of this on my nose as well. All right, now for lips, I like to go in with my favorite lip combo. So I like to line my lips with a brown lip liner. So I'm using this one by ColourPop. This is in the shade Control. So I like to use a dark brown lip liner. I feel like it's perfect for brown skin, and also it just gives a really nice ombre effect with your lip color. The next, I'm going in with the NYX Butter Gloss, and I'm gonna use this one in the shade Angel Food Cake. So this is more like a pink shade, and I like to apply it and just mix it in with the lip liner. This is going to give it a nice ombre. And of course, these NYX Butter Glosses are super pigmented, so they can work as lip glosses and lipstick. So this is my most requested makeup tutorial. I really hope you guys enjoyed it. Don't forget to watch my previous video over here. This is a concealer tutorial, so I talk about all the different concealers and why they're used and how to place them, how to blend them, everything you need to know about concealer. But other than that, I will see you guys in my next video.
KLJ, welcome to a channel where it's poppin'.